On the chilly morning of January 15, 1947, Betty Bersinger, a young mother in Los Angeles, was walking her child down Norton Avenue in the Leimert Park neighborhood. As she strolled along the quiet street, something caught her eye on an empty lot nearby. At first, she thought it was a broken mannequin discarded by a store. But as she approached, horror washed over her. It wasn't a mannequin, but the naked, mutilated body of a young woman, sliced clean in half at the waist. She hurried to a nearby house to call the police, her hands shaking as she dialed. The Los Angeles Police Department responded quickly, and within minutes, the empty lot was swarming with detectives, photographers, and forensic experts. What they found would launch one of the most infamous investigations in American history. The victim was soon identified as Elizabeth Short, a 22-year-old aspiring actress from Massachusetts. Known for her jet black hair and striking beauty, Elizabeth had come to Los Angeles with dreams of fame, hoping to make a name for herself in Hollywood. Friends described her as sweet, friendly, and always dressed in black, which had earned her the nickname the Black Dahlia. But in Hollywood, Elizabeth found it hard to get by. She worked as a waitress, struggled to find acting jobs, and lived a transient lifestyle, bouncing from place to place. She was well known around town and often seen in bars, trying to make connections in the film industry. Her tragic end would make her famous, but not in the way she had hoped. The crime scene was gruesome. Elizabeth's body had been meticulously cut in half with surgical precision, indicating the killer might have had medical knowledge. Her face was slashed from the corners of her mouth to her ears, creating a chilling Glasgow smile. The cuts on her body were clean, with no sign of hesitation. Investigators were struck by the eerie display, the way her body had been posed, her arms raised above her head, and her legs spread apart in a shocking and humiliating manner. Strangely, there was no blood at the scene, leading detectives to conclude that she had been killed elsewhere and transported to this location. As news of the discovery spread, reporters flocked to the scene, their flashbulbs snapping as they documented every grisly detail. By the end of the day, Elizabeth's brutal murder was front-page news, and the case captured the attention of the entire nation. The investigation began immediately, with the LAPD scouring the area for clues and interviewing anyone who might have crossed paths with Elizabeth in her final days. They learned that she had last been seen alive on January 9th at the Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. She had been spotted talking to several men, looking for a ride to Hollywood, but after that night, detectives pieced together her movements in the weeks leading up to her death, interviewing friends, acquaintances, and even strangers she had met in bars. They followed dozens of leads, but nothing solid materialized. Desperate for answers, the LAPD called in the FBI to assist, and Elizabeth's fingerprints were run through national databases. The FBI found that Elizabeth had been arrested for underage drinking a few years earlier, providing them with a small amount of background information, but no substantial leads emerged. Over the following days, police interviewed over 150 suspects, including doctors, ex-boyfriends, and known criminals. Each lead, however, turned into a dead end. The newspapers fanned the flames of the public's fascination with the case, dubbing Elizabeth the Black Dahlia, and publishing every rumor they could find. The media frenzy only grew when the Los Angeles Examiner received a package labeled the Dahlia's belongings. Inside, they found Elizabeth's birth certificate, business cards, photographs, and an address book, with several pages torn out. The contents were covered in gasoline, presumably to remove fingerprints. The police realized that this was likely from the killer, taunting them in the press. This bold gesture raised more questions than answers. Who could commit such a brutal crime and then toy with investigators? Was the killer someone who knew Elizabeth personally, or a stranger who had targeted her for reasons unknown? The LAPD pursued numerous theories, including that the murder was the work of a jealous lover or a random psychopath. They even considered a possible connection to a series of similar murders in Los Angeles, where young women had been found mutilated and dumped. Each theory seemed plausible, but never fully panned out. Detectives grew frustrated, haunted by Elizabeth's face on their office wall. By now, they were convinced her killer was someone with medical expertise or a morbid fascination with anatomy. But without concrete evidence, the investigation was at a standstill. The Black Dahlia case attracted many false confessions over the years, from individuals eager to claim responsibility for the infamous murder. Some confessed for the notoriety, while others appeared to be mentally disturbed individuals seeking attention. Detectives carefully investigated each confession, but found no credible evidence. One of the most infamous suspects was Dr. George Hodel, a wealthy and highly respected physician in Los Angeles. Decades later, Hodel's own son, a former LAPD detective named Steve Hodel, began to suspect his father of being the Black Dahlia killer. Steve Hodel discovered disturbing evidence in his father's belongings, including photographs resembling Elizabeth and medical books detailing precise cutting techniques. Hodel's mansion was known for hosting wild parties attended by Hollywood elites, and there were rumors of illicit activities. Steve Hodel even claimed to have uncovered a secret room in the mansion, where he believed his father may have tortured and killed Elizabeth. Despite Steve's compelling evidence, however, authorities lacked physical proof to charge George Hodel with the crime. As time passed, the Black Dahlia case became one of Los Angeles' most infamous unsolved murders. The LAPD filed away the case, its leads exhausted, and decades later, interest in the case was reignited by true crime enthusiasts, historians, and amateur sleuths who pored over the details, searching for clues that might have been missed. In 2012, the case made headlines again when new DNA technology allowed the LAPD to test old evidence, but the results were inconclusive and the mystery persisted. Today, the Black Dahlia case remains open, though cold, its secrets sealed by time. Elizabeth's unsolved murder continues to haunt Los Angeles, her tragic life and brutal death a symbol of Hollywood's darker underbelly. The story of Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, has inspired countless books, documentaries, and films, all attempting to unravel the mystery of her death. Each theory brings with it a new interpretation, but the true identity of her killer remains elusive. Elizabeth's story, once a hopeful dream of stardom, has become a cautionary tale, a reminder of how the glittering lights of Hollywood can mask a shadowy world of darkness. Her spirit lingers in the streets of Los Angeles, her unsolved murder a testament to the cruelty she endured. More than 70 years have passed since that fateful day in January 1947, but the city has not forgotten Elizabeth Short. Her memory endures, her story told and retold, as each generation searches for the truth behind the Black Dahlia murder.